Okay, hello and welcome to How I'm Spending the Fucking Apocalypse. So, 30 days have passed since I poured this, and now it's time to seal it. Geez, only 30 days. Time flies when you're having a good time, you know. Massive hurricanes and wildfires and the end of a war and the pandemic and everybody running like crazy, spreading COVID everywhere. Yay.
Yes, so much fun.
It seems like only yesterday when I poured this, and now it's time to paint it. Okay, so the first thing that has to happen is I want to get all the dust and residue off of it. I'm going to do that by just taking a regular washcloth, wringing it out really good, and then very carefully, oh look how careful I'm doing that, getting all the loose stuff and all the dust that's fallen in 30 days and all that stuff off the countertop. Why? Because otherwise it's going to get in your seal and make a mess. Okay, so
That was
there
hard.
we go. That was hard. Oh, that was terribly hard, wasn't it? Okay, so while I'm waiting for that to dry, and I have to go in and get glasses because I can't see. While I'm waiting for that to dry, we're getting glasses. Come with me. If Lynn will come at this angle, she can show this little crack here.
Oh, at the very top.
See that little crack there?
Yeah.
That wasn't there until after the tornado.
Oh,
The
yay.
tornado apparently shifted this trailer just ever so slightly, which is probably what broke our pipe.
Yes.
And I noticed another one in here.
Oh, great. In the bathroom?
Yes, right above where the pipes broke. It actually did it enough to crack all the paint, and right there at that trim board.
Oh, my Lord, I see
moved
that.
that whole trim board.
I see that. Yeah, the tape's down and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So, yay!
Yay.
And because the whole besides that, I have picked up a new leak in the roof. Right there. See, God makes sure I never have a chance to get bored.
Gee, a little boredom might not be a bad thing.
No, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I need my stinking glasses because I left them in here. I take, and for you older subscribers or just you blind motherfuckers, okay, you might want to do this too. I buy these at the Dollar Tree for $1. And I have like 12 pairs of them that I've bought over the years. I keep them all over the place because otherwise I don't wear my glasses all the time because they don't actually help me see.
When you're walking,
When
yeah.
I'm walking or working, they don't help me see. So otherwise, every time I had to do close work, every time I'd have to go. So I literally have these in all my shops and in here and everything else. And yes, I will have to get up on the roof and fix it again. I fixed it last year, now I get to fix it in a different spot.
Yay.
Yay! All right, so now I'm going to do something I don't advise you always do. But when we're talking about paints and sealers and stuff like that, you need to read the directions.
Oh, and what are the directions?
See what we got? We got gloss wet cure seal
Glass wet look, yeah.
for concrete, exposed aggregate, unglazed tile, slate, and brick. Cures fresh concrete. So you can put it on fresh concrete. That doesn't mean wet concrete, dumbasses. That means dry concrete. And here's the nice thing about it when you're doing countertops and sink tops. It repels oils, rust, waters, and stains. Brightens and protects interior and exterior water-based, low odor, non-flammable driveways, patios, floors, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I haven't done it for a while, so I need to know, I want to do more than one coat. I need to find out how far it is between coats.
Okay, so do you want me to turn off or do you want me just to wait?
Okay, so it tells you what to do it with. No, because I'm going to tell them how to do it.
Okay.
Okay, it says sponge mop, roller, brush, low pressure airless sprayer. Fuck the low pressure airless sprayer. Because this stuff, if you did a low pressure, you would have to mask all this because this is a sealer.
Right.
And you will wind up with it on the walls and you say, well, why will that matter? It's clear. Because it's going to splash, it's going to look like there's water on it all the time. Now, if that's what you're going for, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see here it says, remove all paint, wax, dirt, dust, and oil and grease, blah, 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 bunch of flies, steak and soda, and blah, 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 blah.
So those were real clear instructions.
Yeah, well, that's what I did it for. Okay, so all I'm looking for is, and here's the thing. How many cabinet tops can you do with this? Okay, so let's go down to smooth concrete and or brick. 300 to 400 square foot.
Wow.
Okay,
That's a
so
lot.
the application can be made at any time when surface is dry for a higher luster, ready for light traffic in 8 hours, heavy traffic in 24 hours, reapply every 1 to 3 years depending on traffic and wear. Okay, so, ooh, it's going to be hard. Got me a tin can. Why do I have me a tin can? Because it's perfectly good for what I need to do. I have a small surface. Now, anytime I'm using any kind of sealer or any kind of polyurethane, any of that stuff that is clear, I always use a brand new brush. Okay? No, but you're a cheap bitch. Why would you use a brand new brush? Because I don't want freaking hairs and shit and pieces of paint fluff and stuff from the last job in my sealer. Now I don't need these.
Now they keep you from seeing.
Yeah, as do my regular glasses.
Yep.
And yes, I'm sweating in here. Why? Because I have the air conditioner set on 80 because there's nobody living in here. Okay, so I'm just going to put out probably about that much. Okay, and when you paint it on, it's easy to do because you can immediately tell that you put it on there. So it's not like, you know, a lot of the clear stuff you kind of have to watch because you're like, oh, but it goes on white and then dries clear. So there's that.
It also looks wet, so you can...
Now, I want to put quite a bit around the hoo-haws and in any kind of cracks and crevices, but I don't want to put too much because guess what? It won't dry. Or at least it won't dry for weeks, in which case that's a pain in the ass.
So you're coming back in, what, 8 hours?
I will probably come back, yeah, probably or I'll wait till tomorrow because it doesn't really fucking matter. I can come tomorrow after I take Mom to the doctor.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
So, a couple of things while I'm doing this little job. I'm going to bitch about shit. I know, I never do that!
No.
Okay, first thing I'm going to bitch about. My sister Tad, I had to run up to her house first thing this morning because Tad works at the school. There is no mask mandate at her school. She's been fully vaccinated and she always wears a mask. However, there's no mask mandate. The person who's just over in the kitchen, they had to be quarantined last week because her pregnant daughter, who lives with her, got COVID. Neither she nor her daughter had been vaccinated. So they quarantined the kitchen staff until they could get them. They gave her a test, told the rest of them to wait, and if her test came back positive, then they would have to go get tested. Blah, blah, blah. Any rate, Tad called 2 days ago. Tad has full-blown COVID symptoms. So I went and brought her you know, herbs and spices. And
Of course, she can't get tested because yesterday was a holiday.
Yeah, she couldn't get, yesterday
and
was
holiday.
Labor Day and a weekend, so she couldn't get in to get tested. So they're testing her today.
They're going to do the
Meanwhile,
log test.
testing does not make people feel any better.
No. Oh my gosh.
She's feeling pretty rough, and she's fully vaccinated, so I can only get, she says right now, day 2 or day 3? Day 3 of being, from when she showed symptoms. Right now, she feels worse than she's ever felt being sick. Now, why does that have merit? Because Tad had Rocky Mountain spotted fever a few years ago.
And she is tough as a nail. So
she's tough as nails. So if Tad is saying, I feel worse than I felt with any flu, I feel worse than I did when I had Rocky Mountain spotted fever, it's nothing to dick with.
No.
But meanwhile, we live in the fucking American South, right in the middle of the red assholes. And these fuckers will not do a damn thing. They are sending their kids to school, not only unvaccinated, not only unmasked, but they send them to school sick.
Yes.
They send them to school when they have symptoms.
Because God forbid.
They literally don't give a fuck.
Nope. Well, God forbid they should take care of them when they're sick.
God forbid that they should take care of them, stay home and take care of them when they're sick. Let's just send them to school so they don't have to deal with them. This is the kind of people we're dealing with. Not caring, loving, oh, you're judging them harshly. No, I'm not. I'm telling you the truth. Yeah. These people don't give a crap about anyone, not even their own damn kids. Okay?
Obviously.
The other thing that I want to bitch about, while I'm bitching about shit, is right now we're living in the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, which didn't do anything to us. Thank God, because we had a tornado and a polar vortex.
Yeah.
We didn't need to get slammed again. But nobody needed to get slammed. But this is what happens when the same people that won't vaccinate, the same people.
So you're using water to clean that, right?
Yes, this is water soluble. It's really nice to deal with. And see, I will use this one again.
Because it hasn't been used on anything else.
Because it hasn't been used for anything
I'm
else.
sorry, I interrupted you. The same
and then
people...
I will use it for something else later.
Right, just not.
But I don't. I use cheap brushes because actually they're the best ones. The real hair. These are really cheap. They'll usually pay $1 a piece for these. Anyway.
The same ones who won't vaccinate, the same ones who won't...
Okay, the same ones that won't vaccinate, the same ones that are sending their kids to school sick, the same ones that are running around screaming and hollering and yelling and don't want the infrastructure bill to pass and all this crap. They're the same ones that don't believe in climate change. And they just keep polluting everything as fast as they freaking can. They don't care. They don't care. Quit giving them attributes that they don't have. Those screaming people in picket lines about their rights not to get the vaccine and not to mask, they don't care about you or mankind or this planet. They care about their next smoke break, their next beer, and who they're going to screw up next week. That's all they care about. They're not nice people. They're not good people. They're not good-hearted people. Are some of them, do some of them do some of those things? Yes, but in their heart of heart, it's dark and black. But I'm looking at right now, the biggest problem I'm having right now with this whole disaster on a regular basis is looking at the giant stacks of debris and stuff being thrown away because of the flooding, because of the hurricane damage, because of the winds, because of everything. This is literally millions and billions of dollars worth of things that are all going to have to be replaced. What does replacing them do? It rips another hole in the ozone. That's what it does. Meanwhile, why have none of the mega corporations that want to pretend like they care about mankind, why have none of them set up salvage operations for after these disasters, where they go in, they take all of it, They bring it to a specific place, or maybe they have a giant warehouse somewhere, and they dump it, and they pay people to go through it. And they salvage what can be salvaged, and the rest of it, what do they do with the rest of it? They run it through a giant chipper shredder, epoxy that shit together, and sell it as wafer board. It's got pieces of metal in it, it's got pieces of foam in it, it's got a little bit of everything in it. We make this board that you then use to build the world with.
Right.
This could be done.
Yes.
Even just salvage, people salvaging, just going and getting it all, hauling it off. It gets rid of it. Right now, it's all going to get dumped.
Yeah.
It's all going to be dumped in landfills.
Insurance companies won't let them go touch it.
The insurance companies are like, oh, no, you can't go through your stuff right now. We don't have the pictures yet. We don't have this. Also, a lot of people are like, look at that crap. They're taking care of New Orleans, but they're not taking care of all those little towns. They're taking care of New York, but they're not taking care of the little towns. Two things, people. Two things. There are 40 bazillion people in the city. There are a couple 100,000 over here. So it becomes trying to take care of the most people at once. Also, what you're dealing with is government red tape. Who gets the A? A city like New Orleans or New York has a huge infrastructure of people whose job it is to jump through the red tape and make sure that their cities get what they need. These small parishes, these small towns in the South especially, those are mostly run by the same people that won't vaccinate and don't believe in climate change. Do they know how to get through the red tape jungle? No, they do not.
Or if they do, there's only one person
Or
doing
if
it.
they do, they're pocketing it because they're corrupt.
Oh, jeez.
We have seen that with the relief that was supposed to go to the landlords,
Yes.
not to kick the tenants out during the COVID.
Yep.
All these red states, they kept that money. They didn't give it to the landlords. Now there's 6 of them that were told yesterday, hey, start giving this to the people it belongs to.
Yeah. 6 states, ours included.
And here's the thing, they probably would if the people that needed it knew how to jump through all that red tape in order to get it, but they don't know how. So they literally sit on it and say, well, nobody's asking for it, so it must be ours.
Yeah.
This is what's going on. Quit passing the buck. Quit looking for people to blame. This is the way things go. This is what happens when there's major disasters. In major disasters, people are going to die. It's going to happen. Things are going to be destroyed. Homes are going to be destroyed. Everybody's going to be in want and need. Where do you start? There's always going to be somebody who gets left out.
Or it doesn't get to until a while.
If you know how to do the red tape and you have a friend that's in the middle of this mess, for God's sakes, call up and ask them, do you need me to handle this red tape for you?
Yeah.
If you know how to do that, call them up and say, do you need me to handle this red tape for you?
Yeah.
I can do that. In the meantime, we're going to throw away $1 bazillion worth of stuff that could be salvaged.
Yeah.
People are throwing out their washers and dryers because they got wet. Do you know what? If you let those dry and dry them out and clean them, they will still work.
Yeah.
They're not ruined. People don't know that.
No.
And they're just lost. And so they don't know what to do, so they're just grabbing shit that used to be stuff they worked very hard for, and they're heartbroken about it, and they're just grabbing it and throwing it on the curb because they don't know that it could be salvaged, and they don't know how. I'm telling you, if your not your electronics, if your TV or your computer got wet in this, it's fried, it's trashed, it's not any good. But your washer and your dryer, your refrigerator, your stove, all you have to do is dry them out.
And clean them.
Dry them out, clean them, plug them back in, and see if they work. What have you really lost? nothing. And you may have gained not having to buy a new one.
Yep.
And it's all well and good if you have insurance that's going to come in and pay for all this shit. But most of us don't.
No.
Most of us don't. And especially those of us who are making do don't. So it can happen to any of us. So reach out. Reach out to people that you know are in need. You know.
Do you notice one of the presidents of one of those parishes in Louisiana said you need to be prepared to take care of yourself for 7 days? And it's like most of those people weren't. You know they weren't.
I have been telling people for the last bazillion years, every time I have talked about coming apocalypses or anything like that, I've told everybody up front, you need to be, every single person in this country needs to be set up to feed and water and shelter themselves in whatever your local disaster might be for at least 2 weeks. Because guess what? You can't stretch help as far as there are people that need help right now. We have to rely on one another. We have to rely on ourselves. This whole shit of when it goes, getting pissed off at the government because they don't right away come and wipe our asses, that's not going to happen, people. You can't. Look at how big the scope of this disaster is. New Orleans, almost to Louisiana, all the way up to the middle of it, has some kind of damage from this storm. Other places got hit with tornadoes. There's flooding in New York, people. More people died of the flooding in the Northeast than died from the hurricane.
Over half the state of New Jersey.
Over half the state of New Jersey is flooded.
Yeah.
Flooded. How do you get help to everyone? You can't. We have to become self-reliant. We have to have plans. If there's a flood coming, where do we go? Do we have family that are going to be on high ground that we can go to? So let's do that before the flood gets there. Same with the hurricane. If a hurricane comes, where do I have family that's in another state? That the hurricanes will go there. We'll stay there until it blows over and until we have electricity, until we blah, 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 blah. We're going to have to start building our structures to take maximum damage from weather. We don't like it. That's the way it is. It's not the end of the world. That's another thing I get tired of hearing. Don't you think this is the end of the world? No, I fucking don't. Because guess what? This isn't even the worst thing that's ever happened to us. You forget that primitive man went through an ice age. And yet they still survived.
Yeah, but we're going to be seeing weather events like this from now on.
We're going to be seeing weather. This will not go away in our lifetime, even if we start to do the right things. We have to start to do the right things because we don't want the future. We're dealing with not just the crap that we did. We're dealing with the last 200 years of industrialization and people trying to have more stuff than they ever needed. Meanwhile, I'm going to wait 8 hours and come back and paint my sink.
Yay.
Till later, don't be one of the dumbasses.
There you go. So Selena's not with me right now to finish this, so I am going to show you the results. She did 2 full coats, and I don't know if you can tell in this light, but it's a beautiful, smooth, shiny, glossy finish. It's just a gorgeous sink. I don't think this image is gonna do it credit, but we've already had guests here who came their little bridge group was here, and they were so impressed, and when they found out Selena had poured it, they were just blown away. So yeah, I think you can see the shine on it right there. Anyway, it has turned out really beautifully, and that's the end of this video. See you next time.